my channel. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. So if I film this and edit this in a timely manner, like I'm hoping to, you will be seeing this on my 29th birthday. I'm 29 today. Just a little bit about me. I started talking about my birthday like weeks before my birthday, just so that everyone knows that it's my birthday. I'm like a child. I probably get more excited about my birthday than my kindergartners did. So, 29 here today. We have to talk. I know, it sounds like I'm breaking up with you. I'm not, but we need to talk. I made this video 6 months ago, right here. I picked over 100 books, and then I cleverly called it 30 books I want to read before I'm 30, even though there were 107 books on that list. That is not going to happen. I am not doing that. At the time, I thought I was being ambitious and like, oh my gosh, I can do this. Yeah, I can't do that. More importantly, I'm not going to do that to myself because about 90% of the books that I put on that list, I don't even own yet. And I have 1 year until I'm 30. So, we are going to scratch that video. And I am going to make a more serious 30 before 30. I literally have 30 books this time. And I'm not counting a whole series as one. I'm counting a whole series as however many books are in that series. So I did keep a lot of my goals in mind, like to finish series and to not be afraid of big books and things like that. And then I put a couple of fun books that honestly I think I'm going to be reading very soon, and just other books that I'm intrigued by and would really like to read. These are all books that I own physically, so there's no reason for future Alita in 1 year, when we revisit this video, there's no reason that you haven't read all of these Alita. You got it? Okay, if I know myself, and I do, I haven't read them all in 1 year. But we are going to try really, really hard to make sure I prioritize these. They're even going to go in my TBR cart at the top, so that, you know, it's like top priority. Gotta get to them right away. So, enjoy this video. It's really only 30 books, so hopefully it's not as long as my last one was. And I apologize for overly ambitious past Alita. You know, I'm still very ambitious, but I'm more realistic as well. I have a full-time job, and I have other interests other than reading and filming, although sometimes it really doesn't seem like it. And, you know, I just need a little space to breathe, but I also really want to challenge myself. So I thought that 1 year to read 30 books as my 30 under 30 was perfect. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first few are ones that are on my TBR for this month. So hopefully I read them. So hopefully that doesn't bother you too much. Anyways, the first book on this list is The Odyssey by Homer. I have read part of this book back many, many years ago, but I'm going to reread it. It's like the Trojan War and the god of Ithaca, the king of Ithaca, Odysseus, that is his name. And it's been a very long time since I've visited this world, and I cannot wait to go back and reread and probably read parts for the first time, because like I said, this was years ago when I was in school getting an English degree. Another one that I'm going to be reading this month. Hey Simon, do you mind? Can you give me just like 10 more minutes? The next one is one that I will be reading in the month of April. This is the Bromance Book Club by Lisa K. Adams. This follows this baseball star who is on the brink of divorce with his wife. When his wife tells him that she's been faking it the whole relationship, so he starts or goes to this bromance book club, which is a bunch of men reading romance books to learn how to woo their significant others. And I just think it sounds so adorable and really funny, and I can't wait for it. This one, Volume 2, is on my TBR right now. But I have Archie Volume 2, Archie Volume 3, Archie Volume 4, Archie Volume 5, and Archie Volume 6 on this 30 before 30. Mostly because, well, I absolutely love Archie and I love Riverdale and everything about these graphic novels and the TV show. And I cannot wait to finish off this series, which is one of my goals, is to be better about finishing series. So here's me trying to finish a series. So if the angle changed, I apologize. Had to switch out the battery, and it's a little bit quieter right now. Fingers crossed that it stays like that. I cleaned out Simon's wheel that he's spinning in because he has a tendency to pick up food and put it inside the wheel with him. Does anyone else have hamsters, or have you ever had hamsters? Do they do that a lot, or is he more like a pack rat than a hamster? I'm not sure if it's normal or not. I've never owned a hamster before, but he is playing in his wheel right now, and it's quiet. You can't tell. The thing that makes noise is when he fills it with food and then he spins in there with his food. Imagine that. Okay, so let's get back to this list. So, after Archie, I want to finish a duology. I'm like 90% sure there's only 2 books in this series. If there's more, correct me in the comments below. But I want to read A Dog's Purpose by W. Bruce Cameron. I actually have to buddy read this with my friend at some point anyway. But first I want to reread A Dog's Purpose and break my own heart twice. Yeah. So W. Bruce Cameron writes from a dog's perspective, and he teaches you about humanity through the eyes of a dog and breaks your heart slowly and tenderly and lovingly, and I am expecting nothing but the most raw emotions from this book, and I am terrified to read it, but also very excited. Then, this is not part of the same series, but this is A Dog's Way Home by W. Bruce Cameron. This gives me Homeward Bound vibes. It's about this dog that is missing, and it's his survival story in the Colorado wilderness, and I'm hoping that his family gets him back. Okay, and then I picked The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. I am buddy reading this with Heather this month anyway, so I'm definitely going to be reading it soon. But honestly, Simone St. James is just the queen. She is an amazing author, and I would read anything this author writes. The next one that I have is Miracle Creek by Angie Kim. I believe that this is a legal thriller in which I think it's kind of dual timeline. You have the courtroom thriller aspects, and then you also have the party and the rape that occurred at that party. I'm pretty sure that's what's it about. I'm pretty sure that's what it's about. If I'm wrong, sorry. But it was hyped on BookTube not that long ago, a year or two ago, and I never really jumped on the bandwagon at that time, but I am ready to jump on that bandwagon now. Then I have Gone Too Far by Natalie D. Richards. This is the only Natalie D. Richards that I own that I haven't read, and I don't know why. I guess it's because I love everything that she has written. Her thrillers are not that surprising. They're just a whole lot of fun, and I guess that I'm scared this one won't be. It's about this girl named Piper who finds this notebook in the middle of a hallway when she's going to class. She's late for school, and she was going to drop it off at the Lost and Found, but instead she reads it, and it's full of everyone's secrets. And I don't know, something about it just kind of sounds like blah to me. So I'm scared I'm not going to like it as much as I like everything else she's written. So I haven't let myself read it. So before I turn 30, I would love to give this a shot. Then I have Go Ask Alice and Letting Anna Go. So these are both by Anonymous, and they are both real diaries. So Go Ask Alice says, January 24th, after you've had it, there isn't even life without drugs. The harrowing true story of a teenage descent into the seductive world of drugs. A diary so honest you may think you know Alice or someone like her. Read her diary, enter her world. You'll never be able to forget Alice. And then Letting Anna Go is Saturday, June 30th. I just got on the scale in Mom's bathroom. Mayday. My head is pounding. I feel bloated. This is the price I pay for not sticking to my guns yesterday. Is it worth it? The answer is no. This is the story of a girl. She was an athlete with a bright future. She only wanted to lose a few pounds. When she started to lose weight, she couldn't stop. The feeling she got from getting thinner was addicting. She felt powerful, in control. She didn't realize she was starving herself to death. Follow her devastating journey in her own words in the diary she left behind. Then, this one was actually on the list that I made in October. So this Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. This one terrifies me because she's big. Plus, I think it takes place during or right after the Civil War. And I'm not really sure about the synopsis of this book. I think it's a romance with like Scarlett O'Hara and someone else. But I don't know. I'm scared because it takes place during war. Then there's Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I am intrigued and I do want to attempt to read the whole series, but I'm not going to put the whole series on this list. I'm just putting Vicious, which is the first in the trilogy. It's like a villain backstory. I've realized that I love villain backstories almost as much as I love witchy stories. So our first stack is gone. We are to our final stack. So I should talk about these three at the same time because why not? So there's The Works of Edgar Allan Poe. This is some of his short stories, and honestly I've probably read all of his short stories, so this would be more of a palate cleanser, more of a reread, I guess, but I absolutely love Edgar Allan Poe, so I can always add more of his books to my TBR. Then I have Great Tales of Horror by H.P. Lovecraft. Never read anything by H.P. Lovecraft, but these are some of his short stories. I'm just ready to see if I like H.P. Lovecraft as much as I like Edgar Allan Poe. Another really thick one, but beautiful, beautiful edition. Is Classic Tales of Horror. So this is by many different authors, and it's short stories, and it's like gold edges. Oh my god. So this probably one of the most beautiful books I've ever owned. It has, I don't know if you can tell, but there's like trees on this graveyard, and there's bats up here, and then on this side there's more bats, and the moon, and the graveyard, and then just, I mean, oh, so it's beautiful. It's yet another short story collection. Then, to balance out the big books, I got this like little tiny thing that I can read in one sitting probably. So this Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator by Roald Dahl. At one point, I did want to read every Roald Dahl book that's out there, but I didn't love everything I've read. So I think that I just want to finish Charlie, this duology of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Now this is like Charlie and the Glass Elevator. So I'm intrigued to just finish the series. Then I have Sky Falling by Mia Mackenzie. Well, this is a book of the month book, and one of my goals is to read a book of the month book every month. But more than that, this is about this girl named Sky who donated eggs when she was in her early to mid-20s, and then it talks a lot about nature versus nurture and everything, because one of those eggs became a person, became a baby, and now that baby is 18 years old and waltzing back into her life to kind of get to know her egg mom. So it's gonna talk about motherhood and what it means to be a mom, what it means to be family, and that is something very, very close to me. Like, I really want to be a mom, and it might be really hard for me to ever get pregnant, and I know that there are like other options and everything, but this speaks to me in a way that no other book has. has before, so I'm hoping the execution is there and that it's amazing. Then this one was also on that video that I did in October. This is Send in the Idiots by Cameron Nazar. This is another short story collection, but it's a lot shorter. And this is about what it's like to be autistic and what the world is like in the eyes of someone who has autism. And I just really want to learn more and educate myself. So then we have Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. This is like my last chance with John Green. I honestly wasn't gonna read this, but my friends have said, like, I love The Fault in Our Stars, but everything else that I've read by him I don't like. I've never read this, but my friends have said that this one is worth it. It's so good. It's got some kind of OCD rep, I think, and I'm intrigued enough to want to read it. So, as you can tell, I like to try to educate myself about everything. And I know that that's not literally possible to educate myself on everything, but some of the things that are very, very close to my heart that I like to educate myself on are cancer rep books. And I know that sounds like a cliche, but it's true. Motherhood, or like, maybe not motherhood, but alternate ways of becoming a mom. I don't know if that makes sense or not. And then OCD and other mental health disorders like bipolar is another big one that I like to educate myself on. And people with autism and autism rep, I love to see that. I love to see body positive books and overweight mean characters. And I love educating myself about drug use, especially like heroin use. And I really like getting in the minds of like serial killers, and I love the psychology behind the world, and I just continue to learn, and I love learning. So I think that's one thing that makes me a really good teacher, is that I'm a teacher, but I don't think that I know everything. In fact, I know there are a million things I don't know. But I am there every day, and I try so hard to not only teach my students, but learn with them. Because I know I can learn so many different things, not only from them, but from the literature that I read. Anyways, with that little tangent, let's finish off this list. This is all we got left, so we're almost there. So again, another big book. This is the Iliad by Homer. So this one is told in verse, and I have read a good chunk of this, but again, it's been a long time, so I'm going to reread the parts that I have read. I don't really remember. I'm not saying no. I have The Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. This is pretty big too. Okay, so it's only over 600 pages. I have read most of The Canterbury Tales. It's this epic poem, again, and it's like this adventure story, if I remember correctly. Then another one that I have read, but I haven't read this edition, and I really don't think that I understood exactly what was going on in this book the first time I read it. So it's Beowulf by this guy, Seamus Heaney. I feel like that's wrong, but I think this is another epic poem. It is. Epic poem, and this edition was just beautiful. Okay, so this is just one series, and technically this one counts as 3 books and 4 books. So I have read The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, but I haven't read it since high school, and I believe that I loved this book. But looking back at it, I can't remember if I loved the book or if I loved my experience reading it, because I read it in this mythology class, and I had this amazing group of friends who we got to be buddies for this book, and we had so many fun experiences with it. And from what I remember of this book, there's like this hobbit, and his name is Bilbo, right? I think his name is Bilbo. And he goes on this adventure, and I remember there's trolls and magic, and I cannot wait for it. Now, the one that scares me is The Lord of the Rings. So this is all 3 books. This is The Fellowship of the Ring, The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to use this version of the books, or if I'm going to go get the cute versions that I've seen going around. Plus, I'm not entirely sure if this is, it says the complete best-selling classic, now an epic motion picture trilogy. But I'm not entirely sure if this is the entirety of the series, or if, like, this has some stuff taken out, because sometimes they do that when they convert it to, like, a bind-up of everything, and I don't want to miss anything. So I might get, like, a different version, but I still really, really, really want to read this before I turn 30. So now that top space is full of 30 books, and this time it really is only 30 books that I want to read before I turn 30. So thank you for celebrating my birthday with me. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. It would make my birthday so awesome if you subscribed to me. Thank you. I will see you guys later. Bye.